Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, classmates. My topic for today is about the nature, scope, and function of school administration and supervision. So, it is a landmark in the history of the Philippine educational system. Education Act of 1982, which is a human uplift and a social progress. The act restates the policy of the state to establish and maintain a complete, adequate, and integrated system of education relevant to the goals of national development, and it delineates specific provisions relevant to various concerns of the educational enterprise. So, first is the nature of school administration. First is educational administration is directly and indirectly for people. So social process in terms of its objective because it decide and as a whole is human and social development. So social development is the change over time in an individual's understanding of attitudes concerning and behavior toward others. For example, a development change in how people behave with members of the other gender or their understanding of what friendship entails. Second is the content, because the substance or subject matter of its decision-making function involves or affects people directly or indirectly. And the third one is method. Utilizes procedures and technique which involve or affect human beings directly or indirectly. So in educational administration includes function like planning, organizing, financing, directing, and supervising. So with inspecting and evaluation. So these are the different techniques. So it is also concerned with elements like setting up of goals of education, review, feedback, and innovation. So there are two complementary view. The first one is the foundational view and the second one is the functional view. So let's talk about the foundational view. So this is why one behaves as he does, and it utilizes established and emerging theoretical frameworks. So this is for analyzing the antecedent predictors, correlates or outcomes of administrative behavior. So the second one is the functional view. So what one does or should do as a school administrator. So it focuses on the tasks and activities in which one must be competent if he is to be an effective school administrator. So in foundational view, why one behaves. So there are these teachers that doesn't like how the head handles them. So some likes it and some don't like it. So as a school administrator, you should assess why this teacher acts like this and why does a teacher acts opposite with the other one. So, so in functional, what one does or should do as a school administrator, what you will do if your teacher will talk back at you, what will you do to address issues in your school. As we all know, there are groupings in your school, different groups of teachers. What will you do to unite them? So, in this way, um, one could say that he is competent if he could. What will he do to patch things up or to make the teachers unite? Okay, so the nature of supervision can be seen in the following. So the first one is it involves guiding the activities of the subordinate to accomplish a given task. So supervision is the activity that involves overseeing the subordinates at work to ensure they are working according to plans and policies of the organization. So the head supervises activities in school to make it successful and also guides the teacher for her or him to be able to accomplish the given task at hand. It is also a face-to-face contact between supervisor and his subordinates. The second one, it includes planning, organizing, directing, and controlling the work and activities of the employee. So the head together with the master teachers or grade leaders, they plan a task or activity, and the master teacher or the grade leader will be the one disseminating those informations because we are in this pandemic, so only the grade leaders and MP will attend the meeting so that social distancing will be implemented. So each activities should be planned to make it organized. So the head also directs us a task so that all of us will be working, all of us will be united to make the activity a successful one. The third, it also includes the concept of unit task accomplishment. So the supervisor is the one responsible for accomplishing the unit's objectives. Okay, scope and function of school administration. So there are major functions of school administration. Some of the major functions of this administration can be cited as the following. First one is planning of school programs and activities. This is to plan to show activities, instructional materials, and the procedures and the means to attain set activities. It is examining problems to be done, so gathering information on them, determining alternate courses of action, and making decisions about how the problems should be solved. So the head will be soliciting ideas, suggestions on how we could attain our goals and objectives in that particular activity. So there will be instances that we will be encountering problems, technical problems or something. So we have to plan ahead the solution if ever we would meet those problems. So much better if we could have a backup plans. So the second one is directing schoolwork and formulating and executing educational policies. So that is decision making, who to carry out plans, who teaches what, and working out policies and regulations for all those in the organization. So the head or the supervisor is the one directing the schoolwork to each one of us. So it's like me, I'm handling the DRN coordinator, and I'm also handling the newsletter or um, the article writings. I'll just disseminate those topics to the different teachers, and they will be sending it to me. So, and I will be the one putting it in the layout of the newsletter. So, our we are given different tasks in each activities, so that all activities will run smoothly. Because of all people concerned will work together, um, the activity will be a successful one. So it is the responsibility of the head to encourage all teaching staff to cooperate and organize school programs or activities. So the third one is coordinating administrative and supervisory activities. So in terms of harmonizing educational activities and makes them instrument of yielding outcomes. So coordination is needed to overcome the limitation of planning and organizing, as well as inherent limitation of personnel. So we have to coordinate. So not just one teacher who will do the task, but all of us. So we have to coordinate with each other so that we will not be limiting the activity into that particular only. So the function of coordinating may be defined as the activity to bring the people, materials, ideas, and techniques and purposes productive relationships. So if people are working together, so ideas could, you have different kinds of ideas. You could suggest it. Materials will not be limited. Also techniques also. So this it will become a productive activity. So fourth is providing the necessary leadership. So the head is the one providing the necessary leadership. And the fifth one is evaluating the teaching personnel and school program. As, as an administrative function includes teacher, performance rating, and school survey. So for evaluations, the reason why we have a rating for teachers is that improve teacher through in-service education. So if the head or the the principal sees that this teacher needs to be improved, so that teacher um, will be sent to in-service education, or we'll have a lax session on that particular technique so that all of us, all of the teachers will know not just that particular teacher, but all of us, so we could gain knowledge on that. And also to identify those who merit promotions, because there are teachers who really um, are outstanding in terms of teaching. They have this um, unique ideas. So why we have this rating, we have this COT, the classroom observation, because to see how the teacher apply a certain knowledge in a certain webinar or training she attended to. So if she applied it or not, or if she applied it so well to the students, so this the principal will know, and also those who merit promotion, or those who are um, needs to be promoted because of a certain uniqueness or a certain technique that she has. And sixth one is keeping records and reporting results. In that, records are kept for comparison and evaluation purposes. So of course, like for example, in our guidance office, we have this 3 years back enrollment. So we will know if this year we have increase in enrollment or not, or um, comparison. Like for example, this last 2 years ago, we only have one building only, and then the next year we have two buildings, and then the next, and this year we have three. So it's comparison and evaluation purposes also. So the reporting results to public will help them understand what the school can do and are doing. So if we have these reports, so we could know, or we will let our stakeholders know where our school is, or where we could assess what our school is doing and what our school can still do. So that's the purpose of reporting results to public. And then scope of school supervision, the major functions logically under school supervision can be cited as the following. So the first one is this is actually a study of school conditions to discover problems or defects of the students, teachers, equipment, school curriculum, objectives, and methods. So this could be done via actual observation, educational tests, conference, questionnaires, and checklists. So in the public, we have classroom observation. So or physical evaluation in the classroom. So we have that. So inspection as function must be based on actual facts. So the second one is research. This has something to do to remedy the weaknesses of the solution to solve problems discovered. So the supervisor should conduct research to discover means, methods, and procedure fundamental to the success of supervision. So the solutions discovered are then passed on to the teachers. So research as function should be practical and applicable to the existing procedures and conditions. So just like what happened to us last school year, this year, last June, July, something like that. Um, we were the one. There are two groups who represent Tipan Elementary School in the district research congress. So we are in each group there are three members. So we are in the English category. So we have this. The action research is entitled "Story Mapping Strategy: Its Efficacy in Reading Comprehension Among Grade 4 Learners." So since um, I am handling grade 4, my other member is handling grade 6 and 1, so we opted to have grade 4, so it's in the middle. So as we all know, stories for for learners are very boring. So we opted to have an innovation to make it more engaging to the learners, to make them more participative, to make them active in participating. We made a um, story mapping strategy. So we have a spin the wheel story house map. So I didn't include it here. So we have spin the wheel story house map. It is a house type, a house shape. So we have the wheel, and then inside the wheel there are characters, settings, um, title, and so on and so forth, or the elements of a short story, elements of a story. So whenever we ask question and then that student or that learner wants to answer, so he or she will spin the wheel and whatever the word the arrow stops in, he or she will answer that. So in that way, we could let the learners enjoy and we could understand more the story. So that's our research. So gladly and we were selected to we were selected to represent our district South 2 in the Divisional Research Congress. So so we defended that action research in that divisional research congress. So because we find this problem that the learners really are having a hard time understanding the story and they find it boring. So we made an innovation. So we made a solution so that uh, in that way we could help the teachers make the lesson more engaging and make the learners actively participate in storytelling in or story lesson. So the third one is training. So this is acquainting teachers with solutions discovered in research through training. So training may take the form of demonstration teaching, workshops, seminars, classroom observations, individual or group conferences, interrecitation, professional classes, or the use of bulletin board or circulars. So training as function must be based on democratic principle of supervision, respect for rights and opinions of others. So we have different kinds of opinions, so we have to respect it. So supervision must endeavor to keep up with the best prevailing standard of improving the total teaching learning. So in our research, we conducted it into a training. So we put it or our one of our member um, discussed it through in our LAC session. So and we did a workshop with it. Okay, the fourth one is guidance. So guidance involves personal help given by someone. It is the function of supervision to stimulate, direct, guide, and encourage the teachers to apply instructional procedures, techniques, principles, and devices. So assisting the teacher to accomplish his purpose and to solve the problems that arise in his teaching are within the scope of guidance. So guidance like training should be given in the spirit of democratic leadership. So whenever the teacher is having a hard time, um, the head is there to guide, to give advices, to encourage the teacher that to apply this kind of techniques in the classroom so that um, misbehaving students will lessen. So applying it so that we will have a harmonious relationship inside the classroom. So fifth one is evaluation. So as an ultimate function of supervision, evaluation appraises the outcomes and the factors conditioning the outcomes of instructions and to provide the products and processes of instruction. So we have evaluation discovers the need of individuals being evaluated and familiarizes the teachers with the pupils' needs and possibilities. So just like what I said earlier, we have COTs. So uh, before when we have face to face during in the evaluation we can assess if what the pupils need and what the pupils need to understand the lesson. So evaluation serves as guide for the selection of supervisory techniques. So during evaluation we could know what technique is suitable for that specific class. So evaluation appraises the educational growth of pupils, which is the end of product of supervision. So evaluation appraises the quality of supervisory processes and supervisors' competence. So evaluation appraises the quality of teaching processes and teachers' efficiency. And evaluation also aids pupil-teacher planning. So um, the head evaluates the teacher so that the teacher will be doing the lesson in a learner-centered way. So evaluation also serves as a means of improving school-community relationship. Okay, so this one, improving school-community relationship. So it's not only the students. We also have to develop a harmonious relationship to our stakeholders, to the parents of our learners, so that whenever there are projects in schools or there are meetings, they would really love to attend those events in our school. So evaluation improves the selection and use of guiding principles in supervision. Evaluation appraises the success of the instructional program in particular and of the supervisory program in general. So this one, evaluation really is needed for us to assess where we are at, so what area we could improve on, um, so that we could also accept, and also we could assess what technique is best suitable for that um, specific learner or specific learner or in the class. So that's it. That's the end of my report. Thank you for listening.